What if, when Jesus said to us, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength and mind, and your neighbour as yourself, he actually meant it? Tēnā koutou katoa, ko mea Duckworth toko ingoa, e tipu aki ahau ki te whanganui atara, e mahi ana ahau ki Tearfund. Today we're reflecting on the much-loved story of the Good Samaritan in Luke chapter 10 verses 25 to 37. Jesus answers a young lawyer's question, who is my neighbour? By telling the story of a man who has been robbed and beaten on the road between Jerusalem and Jericho. Whilst a priest and a Levite pass by, a Samaritan man stops and tends to him, giving us a rich depiction of neighbourly love. At Tearfund, we like to talk about putting faith into action, and what I love about this story is that it so clearly positions love not just as a feeling, but as action. The Samaritan man binds up the wounds of the beaten man, lifts them onto his animal, and takes care of him. And it's also a kind of love that's costly. The road they travelled was known as the Bloody Pass, infamous for its danger. In stopping to help, the Samaritan man risks his own safety. But this passage isn't just a lovely story that reminds us to engage in sacrificial acts of kindness, though important. The Samaritans were the despised enemies of Jesus' first listeners. In his book, Compassionate Justice, Kiwi theologian Dr. Christopher Marshall describes how this passage is so shocking to normal expectations, so unrealistic, that it betokens an entirely different world order in operation, a world in which enemies act like friends. In doing so, this passage reminds us that our neighbourhood, those to whom we have a duty to act towards in love, does not just include those we find it easy to engage with and those we agree with. And in our humanness, we all have times when we experience being the wounded person on the roadside. This passage is also a reminder that the love we receive can come from unlikely places and what seems like unlikely people. We're living in a time where divisions appear to be increasing racially, politically, and this story offers us such challenge and such hope. Many of us are overly familiar with this story of the Samaritan man. But perhaps this Easter, we might let his actions re-inspire our dedication to love our neighbour, especially those whom we don't find easy to love. We may ask ourselves, who is my Samaritan, and what does it look like to love them well? Let us all feel afresh Jesus' call at the end of this passage. You go and do likewise.